I climbed Mont Blanc in September last year, and this is all the gear that I would bring if I had to climb it again tomorrow. Be sure to check out the blog that is linked below, where I go into great detail about all the gear. I'm not a professional, so these are my personal recommendations, and you should always listen to your guide. Let's get started. First up is the base layer here, and I'm wearing all merino wool from the thin socks, the long underpants, regular underpants underneath, and then this long sleeve t-shirt. Next up is a thin fleece and a pair of soft shell pants and a belt. This here is my soft shell jacket that I really like because it's so breathable. This would actually be the clothes that I wore most of the time on the mountain. If it got really windy, I would often put on my hard shell on top of my soft shell. I think that this combination is really good, especially if you're too hot to put on a reinforcement layer, but still need that extra protection from the wind. For even worse weather, I would wear hard shell pants, an extra reinforcement layer, and the hard shell on top. I would also bring a down jacket for extra warmth for when stopping or on the summit. And some people might want to bring a parka if they get really cold, but I think that's probably overkill for most of the season on Mont Blanc. And this is too warm to wear inside, so I'll shed a few layers. Of course, I would also wear a buff around my neck. I would also bring a cap, a warm hat, and 2 pair of gloves. This is a pair of soft shell gloves, and this is a warmer pair that consists of 2 layers, an outer shell and a warmer inner glove. That was often too warm, so I just wear the outer layer on top of the soft shell gloves. If you've seen the video about my Mont Blanc climb, which I will link right here, you know that I had problems with blisters. What really helped was using trail runners for part of the climb, and I would use these with just the thin wool socks. Then for the real climb, I would use these mountaineering boots that are really stiff and rigid. Using these boots, I would wear thicker socks. You also need crampons. I won't put them on, but this is how they look like. And then gaiters on top of boots and crampons. All right, let's move on to the rest of the gear. You will need a helmet. At least wear it when you cross the Grand Couloir. An ice axe for glacier travel. A climbing harness. Get a small one for mountaineering. A locking carabiner for tying into the rope. 2 accessory biners for various uses. Trekking poles with snow baskets. You will also need a headlamp with extra batteries. Sunglasses that are made for mountaineering. They block off the light from the sides. This model has special lenses that adapt to the intensity of the light. A pair of ski goggles. 2 water bottles of 1 liter each. An insulation sleeve for one of the water bottles. A piece of duct tape wrapped around one of your bottles. You also need a sleeping bag liner for the huts. Blankets are provided. Let's talk about personal equipment. I would bring, of course, my phone and a pair of earbuds, just for listening to music and podcasts. Then I would bring a watch just for keeping track of time, steps, heart rate, etc. I also would carry a Kindle just for entertainment when spending a lot of time in the huts, and a Garmin Inreach device that I like to carry just so my family and girlfriend can keep track of where I am. You also need to bring some cash for the huts, just for buying water, extra snacks, extra meals, as they don't always have the option of taking a credit card. Moving on, let's talk about snacks. My experience with altitude is that it can make you dislike certain textures and tastes, so you really have to find out what works for you. For the huts and relaxing, I would bring some nuts or trail mix, and also some Cliff Bars. These I like at the start of the trip, when we're not too high on the mountain and not working too hard. The snack I prefer for when we're working hard and are high on the mountain are the Cliff Blocks. They taste just like gummy bears, and I feel it's an easy texture to eat when I'm dehydrated, working hard, really tired. So these work great for me. I would also recommend bringing just a few extra snacks for sharing with your guide or with other people on the team. That makes it for a more enjoyable experience. I like to keep my snacks in a transparent Ziploc bag. It just makes it easier to find whichever snack that I need at the moment. These are all the toiletries that I bring. Let's go over them one by one. Paracetamol for headaches. Ibuprofen. Imodium for the stomach. Some antihistamines just in case. Prescription drugs. Band-aids. An emergency blanket. A small amount of toilet paper. Strips of kinesio tape for blister prevention. Toothbrush and toothpaste. A good lotion for dry skin. A combined sunscreen and lip balm. Contacts instead of glasses. And earplugs for sleeping. I pack everything in Ziploc bags just because they don't add bulk and you can easily see what's in the bag. I just saw this great tip on another YouTube channel. Cut off the corners of these containers and they won't poke hole in the plastic bag you use to carry them. You will also need a good mountaineering backpack that has loops for your ice axe. In front of me here is all the gear that I would bring. Let's try to pack it. Fully packed, this is what the setup looks like. In the blog link below, you can see more details about all the gear that I've shared with you in this video. Thanks for watching.